Hi, my dear ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the CXO show. It's a blood, sweat, tears, stories. It's not a history, but it is his story. Let's welcome our today's guest, Mr. Vijay Raghav, who is the CEO and founder of Fracktal Works. Fractal Works is an organization which is manufacturing 3D printing machines, and they also give 3D printing services as well. They have some of the reputed customers from L&T, Tata and Cisco as well. So Vijay is a young entrepreneur. There is very much interesting facts about him. Let us understand much more from him. He has done Antarctica expeditions, participated in robo competition during his college days. Very interesting academics as well as the organization growth aspect from Vijay. So Vijay, we would like to understand where did you come from and how did you started this journey?
Sure. Again, first of all, thank you so much for having me. So where did I come? I mean, it's an interesting question. So a lot of people ask me where am I from, and I generally don't have an answer because I have been brought up all across the country. My father was in the Indian Army, and we traveled literally from Andaman Nicobar Islands to Uttarakhand, from Gujarat to Nagaland. So I've been to the length and breadth of this country and seen it all. And every 3 years, I think I've shifted around like 12 schools in my life.
12 schools,
right?
12 schools till 12 standard. Okay, so that's great.
I mean, my dad, even though he was a doctor in the army, he had a passion for electronics and doing things, and he would sort of break apart toys together, and we would sort of go to chore markets and buy old junk electronics and open it apart and take it. So that was sort of my playground. So that is how sort of I was brought up, and if you would call it playing electronics, me and my dad. So okay. I mean, I grew up really loving technology, loving electronics, loving making. For me, engineering also was like a method of creative expression, not just making a product or something like that. It was a creative outlet for me, and sort of that was sort of it's a basic background of my upbringing. And then obviously, I wanted to take up a career in engineering, but I wanted to do robotics at that point in time. I wanted to build robots. At that time, the only thing closest to robotics as a bachelor's degree that you could get was mechatronics. And a couple of colleges were offering that at the time, and one of them was MIT Manipal. So I took up bachelor's in mechatronics at MIT Manipal, primarily because I didn't see myself siloing myself as only a mechanical engineer or a software engineer. I wanted to do it all, and ultimately a robot is a system that has all these aspects to it. So I wanted to be able to do all of them. So I took up mechatronics engineering. So that's where sort of I come from. Okay.
But Vijay, where did that sting of entrepreneurship came into you? I understand that Vijay has opened up a Fractal Works in 2013, and it's almost a decade of journey now. So where that sting come from?
I mean, to be honest, it was there was no sting, there was no passion for entrepreneurship in itself, but I'd say the passion was always in making and creating and solving problems. I think that was the root of it. I got this opportunity to set up a company when I was in the second year of college.
Yes.
When one of the projects that I was working on won a grant from the college, and this was sort of like a business plan competition that we had won. Where again, I was just in the second year. And this is back in 2012. Where you don't really have success stories that you have today of young entrepreneurs making it, or even entrepreneurship as a word, startup as a word.
Yes. That was
pre all of that, right?
True.
And you didn't really have examples. Your parents didn't understand what you were doing. Your relatives didn't understand what you were doing. But luckily, I was just in the second year of college, and I got to say, okay, fine, let's try this out. None of my family comes from a business background. I'm building a product, which is what at that time I was really into. I thought at the very least this will give me a good experience that will either get me a good placement at a foreign university, because I wanted to do my masters in robotics. That was always my goal from the very beginning. or at the least get into a good robotics company because it sort of looks good on my CV that I have entrepreneurship experience. So honestly, this entire thing started off as an experiment. I didn't really have any sort of grandiose visions of being a billionaire or anything when I started out, but ultimately I was an engineer who loved building things. Entrepreneurship was a vehicle for me to take what I've built to the market.
Okay, but Vijay, let me understand that in a second year, that too, most of us will never have a vision. Neither we think of working something towards our education goals. Only with respect to textbooks or notebooks we would be abide to. But what was that mindset which was making you to think further, think different from your academics, apart from your academics?
I think at its core is just having fun, not taking life too seriously. Ultimately, I take it from a position of curiosity. I am curious about this thing, right? Then that curiosity brings with it some amount of excitement. I wouldn't necessarily say passion, but that excitement itself is enough to sort of drive you to some sort of some distance.
Yeah.
So this entire shiny new thing of entrepreneurship, I did not know anything about anything, and I think that is, I would say I don't like being in my comfort zone for too long of amount of time, because I feel like it's sort of strangling me from growth. I like to be in positions where I'm uncomfortable, because that is where growth really happens. So for me, finding out those opportunities where I can be uncomfortable and grow and learn and be better than who I was previously has always been something that I wanted to do. And I think it comes from my parents and my upbringing also, who were people like who always are doing new things. My mother would take up all these different, even though she was a housewife, she would take up different hobbies from flower arrangement to painting to teaching people. So that really drove me as a person also to sort of keep exploring new things. So I'd say that is really where it comes from, just sheer curiosity, nothing too serious.
Yeah, uncomfortableness which is making you to grow. And I certainly understand that now most of the companies which will look when they are hiring a candidate, they'll also look for a characteristics of, is a candidate curious enough to learn, curious enough to grow, curious enough to be in the work. So that curiosity, I think that
100%,
has certainly made
that
you.
is something that even today also, when I'm looking for my teammates and hiring people for the company, that's the base thing that I'm looking. I don't care about what you were, what you did anywhere else. Main thing, what is your appetite to learn? If you have the appetite to learn and grow, then I will be with you on this mission to sort of take you to the next level. But if you are just here just to sort of I wouldn't say not necessarily just for the money, but just sort of to exist and don't have that zeal to sort of be better. It's not even to learn, just to be better than who you are continuously throughout life.
Yes.
Then I mean, this is not the right place. Like we wouldn't want to work together.
Okay, that's good to know. I understand now. So second year you started up a small activity in your college, and you started your Fracktal. When you were there in the college itself, you were studying. So what made you to start this?
I mean, like I said, definitely curiosity, but there was a snowball effect, right? I mean, we were concentrating on building the product. Once the product was built, just organically people gravitated towards it. It was a product that was solving a problem. We were getting students and faculty and business owners who were coming in and giving us, we want to make this, we want to make that. How do we, manufacture this before investing in tooling or high-end manufacturing? Students can't really manufacture something at a very professional level, but with a 3D printer now they can. And really, I think that's where sort of just this curiosity was evolving into like a purpose. Like, this is what the purpose of the company is. It is for democratizing manufacturing. It was helping people manufacture, people without investing in tools and technology or manpower, and really start small and iterate towards a large product. And that's how it sort of started. So because I think we were at every point in time working with customers that both inspired us to keep going and gave shape to the direction of the company as well.
Okay. Democratization of the manufacturing. I think that vision is a fantastic vision. What you're keeping that will serve a lot of societal purpose as well as the manufacturing industry purpose. But Vijay, tell me, how were you able to manage your startup? How were you able to manage your academics?
Honestly, I thought, at that point in time, I even talked to my parents about dropping out of college. Saying that not really dropping out, but taking, say, a year off because of entrepreneur. Let me try this for a while, then get back into this. Because I was not I wouldn't say the brightest student, which is that I did not pay attention to academics as much as I should have. So I was, 6.5, 7 pointer up till then. I think maximum I had gotten 7.5 was the maximum GPA that I had gotten in any year, 1 year. Then this entire entrepreneurship thing happened, and I decided really that, okay, if at all, obviously my parents told me that I can't drop out or take a sabbatical. I decided that, okay, fine. I mean, if at all I have to figure this out, I will study in class itself. Like anyway, I have to go to class for attendance. I will sit at the first bench. I will take notes. I will study in class when the class is going on, so that I don't have to study later on.
Oh.
Simple philosophy.
Okay.
And weirdly enough, it's not that I became brilliant or anything. Right from 7.5, I started getting 8.5, 9, 10 in my GPA semester on semester. It's not because I was learning more or what. Obviously, again, I was paying attention in class and understanding the concepts. But also, I think in a way, I understood how the college system works. Because obviously, what the teacher is teaching and what notes you're making, that is where the exam is going to be drafted from. And up till then, I would basically read the book, the reference book cover to cover, thinking that all of these topics are important, right? Okay. And only some of the things will actually come in the exam.
Yes.
When I realized what the teacher is teaching, whatever condensed version of the reference book is what actually comes into the exam. And obviously also that, if you are the one sitting in the first bench, you are paying attention to the lecturer also starts liking you. He will start dropping hints, this you pay attention to this. He'll sometimes give you grace marks. So I just understood how these other 10 pointers, 9 pointers, how they actually do well.
Yeah.
And I think this is my advice to all the other students that are going into college. You don't have to be smart, you just have to know how the system works. So yeah, I mean, it was sort of a revelation for me. I wish I knew that earlier, that it was that easy to get marks in college.
So you would have started sitting from your from your school days and the first bench.
Yeah, school was, everybody had to. School was, you were literally you had to make notes and everything, otherwise the class teacher will catch you and all of that, right? You have no other option. But college is completely, you can do whatever you want. You want to take notes, don't want to take notes, sit in the first bench, sit in last bench. Nobody's going to call your parents and sort of say that your son is not studying, right?
I think this is one of the hacks for the college goers.
You paid, anyway you are spending time, like you are spending that 45 minutes in class, might as well actually use it productively than just slacking off, and pay attention in the class, and it will actually help you sort of then you were just studying for revision. You already studied it once, right? Somewhere in the brain it's there. Correct. When you're actually studying for the exam, you are literally just rehearsing and revising what has been already taught to you. You understand it once in class, and that will come back to you.
Yeah, I think this kind of a productive mindset and the character which you are building up during your college days, I think that has totally enabled you to build up this organization. Let us